morning to my fans. I know this is really corny, but welcome to Sunday mornings, Frosty's Numismatic Nexus. So I want to say hi to Ringmaster Ray, who's in here, Coin Junkie, Brown Sugar. Appreciate you guys coming in. I'm gonna finish getting organized here for just a second. Um, Hopefully good to go. Okay, Eric Bayer, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. Is my sound low? Does that help? Let me, hey Carl, how you doing? Let me turn up the volume. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Where are we? Okay, nope, that didn't help. All right, what in the world is going on here? There we go. All right, well, they just changed my screen on me. Let me get back and see what's going on. Oh, you gotta love technical issues. Now my camera's got me all wonky over here. All right. Let me check my audio settings. I'm gonna turn my audio up. Is that any better? Sorry about that. Oh. Hey, John Camper, thanks for coming in. Is the audio better there? Can you guys hear the audio? Yep. Okay, good. Outstanding. All right. And why in the world is it on this screen? It shouldn't be on this screen. What the heck is going on here? Let's put this into Studio. Aha. There we go. Now I should be at my opening screen. This will help me because this is the screen that I should be at. I apologize. I was trying to do some settings, get some things set up, so I do apologize for that. I I think I have to get a new microphone. This microphone that I'm using is through the camera, and unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't come across very clearly, especially when I'm trying to display my desktop. So I will continue to work on that and get that set up. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me as we get through this. Let's see, who do we miss? Farm Dog, hey, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Brian and the twins, thank you for coming in. John Camper already said hi to you. Y2 Kipper, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you guys coming by and spending Sunday morning with me. As you can see on the screen, today we're going to be talking about counterfeits. Now, I've talked with a couple people, watched a little bit more information. Shift Kicker, how are you doing? Hashtag Lady Stackers. Thanks for representing. Thank you for being in the house. Appreciate you being here. If you haven't checked out the Lady Stackers, they're doing a lot of good stuff, really applying best practices for community engagement. So some good ladies over there. Go check out some stuff that they're doing. But appreciate you coming in. Had a good conversation with Eric yesterday about some of this. One of the coins that I'm going to show is going to talk a little bit about, or show a little bit about the counterfeit stuff that I'm going to be talking about. But the reason that I decided to go with counterfeiting for today's discussion, the primary topic, is because of a recent article that came out regarding something that happened in Philadelphia. It was a bust by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Agency where they had 3 or 4 shipments come through of fake U.S. currency. Now, when you talk about a couple of shipments, it's like, what does that mean? We're talking to the excess of $14 million, or close to $15 million. Um, and one of the major issues with this was that it was very close to resembling US currency. Um, the folks were able to identify there's some security markers and some differences, but it was one of those things where when you talk about $15 million of counterfeit currency, you're talking about the potential destabilization of some economic prowess in that region, right? And if $15 million would have been flooded into Philadelphia, it could have really hurt some people, especially when you're looking at things like small businesses or when you're looking at people like us, the small community collector, who utilizes that money to build our stacks, to increase our numismatic uh, stack and collections. And so to trade in gold, silver, or something of that nature, or make a sell for a numismatic piece and get fake currency, because once it's done, right? So I wanted to have a little bit of discussion about this because th there's something about counterfeiting that I want people to really begin to understand. Now, when you look at the information online, you're going to see a lot of great specific information. Um, Coin Help You is probably one of the ones that I'm going to talk about the most, who has got some really good information out there regarding numismatic issues within uh, the counterfeiting realm, looking at specific items, things to look for. There's a lot of general information about, well, what are the things you look for when it comes to counterfeiting? We're going to talk about some of those as well, but I'm going to kind of get into counterfeiting as a whole and how counterfeiting is essentially warfare. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. I want to bounce back over here into chat. I see a couple. Ruby Red, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. Perplexed Mind, I appreciate you gracing our presence. Brother AZ, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. AZ is always good to say hi. Good morning. So appreciate you popping in the stream. Miss Coin Crew, my sister from another mister. This lady, man, she makes me laugh so hard. I love her to death. Had such a good time at the coin show. I think I'll be probably talking about the coin show for more months to come. Um, but they are good, solid people. So again, hi, moderators. Do me a favor. If I miss anybody, please make sure you say hi to them. Appreciate you coming in. I think I already said hi to Ringmaster Ray, but Ringmaster Ray, thank you for coming in and spending the morning with us as well. All right, Chief Stacker. Hey, good morning, Chief. Hope you're having a fine Navy morning. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. So I'm going to ask you. I love you, Miss Coin Crew. Thank you. I was about to say Miss Frostbite. I think Frostbitten would have been a little frustrated by that. I'm going to ask a question, and I want chat. If you want to throw this into chat, it's not going to be for anything. It's just going to be a general uh, trivia piece. I will give you a clue. If you Google this, you'll get it wrong. But what do you guys think? What do you guys and gals think is the number one most counterfeited item in the world? Now, I know we're talking numismatics here, but I'm not talking numismatics. I'm talking about general counterfeiting. Now, I'm going to tell you that, Eric, you're out of this. You gave me the answer to this, so Eric's out. But what is the number one? What do you guys think the number one most counterfeit item is? Um, I had looked at, yeah, Eric's like, lol. I had looked at this and was researching it. And as Eric and I were having a conversation yesterday, it was like, really? I mean, it makes sense, especially, when you think of the many, many uses for it. Um, but I was quite surprised. I thought I had two things in mind specifically regarding around um, apparel. Let's just say that I thought it was an apparel item. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. So obviously, people are going to be saying money. Money is one of the things that is definitely counterfeited. But there's so many things in place for money that it actually is dwarfed by this particular item. Now, I see in here shoes. Now, shoes is one of the things that I thought of first. Now, it's close. I will give you a clue. It is close to shoes, but it's not shoes. It is a type of apparel. Sports jerseys, nope. Women's purses. Now, that was the second one, right? Purses and clutches, especially when you're looking at the high item dollars like oh, Coach, right? Coach is one of those ones that is definitely counterfeit. You see them all the time. Toys, purses. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and Eric, if you want to throw the answer down in there, um, bras. Yeah. Well, purses again. Purses was number one. But Eric, yeah, it blows my mind. But what it talks to, slippers, slippers, 1.3 billion a year in counterfeit sales. The next closest item is $511 million, 1.3 billion in counterfeit slippers. It blows my mind. Slippers, of all things. Why in the hell would slippers? But then you think about it. You think about chanclas and flip-flops and stuff like that. And you know, they're punishment items for moms across the globe. Um, but again, what I wanted to start off with, and it still blows my mind. I mean, slippers, really, it's like slippers. Um, what I wanted to talk about is kind of regarding that that thought process. Why do people counterfeit certain items? Why would they choose something so mundane? And the answer is actually quite clever. And that is it's something you don't think about. It's something that you just um, a lot of times they're discardable. A good example of this is my wife and I do triathlon. And so whenever we're getting ready to do a race, we will buy some disposable like flip-flops, shower shoes, right? And we'll wear them to the starting line because when you're at the starting line of a race, you're getting ready to jump into the water, there's no way to retrieve your item because the general rule in triathlon is if you bring it with you, it has to go with you until you get back to your transition area, which is where you change from swimming to cycling, from cycling to running. But if you leave that area, if you leave the starting gate or if you leave the pen with that particular item, you have to take it with you. So a lot of people take disposable items. You buy them without thinking about it. Now, when you're doing Ironman and things of that nature, they collect all of them and then they don't donate them to the community. So it's not like they're just wasted. They are distributed to uh, people in that community. So they do come to benefit, but you don't really think about buying them. You know you're going to be discarding them. You know you're going to be getting rid of them. So it doesn't really matter the brand. So it doesn't matter if they're counterfeit. It doesn't matter if they're fake because you know you're going to be discarding them in this particular event. But when you look at counterfeiting, when you're looking at some of the items, there's a lot of counterfeit items that, and you would expect things like, if we're talking about um, coinages. This is one, I'm not sure if you can see this very well. This is a trade dollar. This is definitely counterfeit. When you look at it, it doesn't pass the pink test. It doesn't pass the weight test. Um, because there were so many in China and through the Asian realm. A lot of them, because they have the real ones, they're able to make molds of them and make duplicate copies. They're highly sought after. So they make sense, right? Um, but people pay attention to those. Another one is the Morgan dollar. Now, this is a fake Morgan dollar. Um, if you look at it, the coin turn is proper. A lot of times when you get the items, the coin turns will be incorrect. This one is, however, when you look at the lettering and when you look at the numbering, you can see that It's been put into a mold. It's not very clear. Everything's really fuzzy. Everything is really sour. But there are some counterfeits that are pretty just mundane. One of those mundane is that you wouldn't really pay attention to unless you knew about it is the Henning nickel. And I've got a couple of videos regarding the Henning nickel. It's probably one of my favorite counterfeiting stories about somebody who had been busted for counterfeiting a $5 bill. While he was in jail, he was like, people pay attention to this. They're looking at currency. They're looking at the high dollar values. So what if I did something that was small that I could easily pass through? Um, and so he created the Henning nickel, made it look a little bit old. There are some that have pretty good details, look pretty good in regards to the age of the item. So when you're talking about war nickel era, you'll see some, the 39, 44, 46. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up. But when you look at it, it's pretty one of those things that you're not going to look that close at it. And if it wouldn't have been for two mistakes that he made, number one was vanity. If it wouldn't have been for vanity, he probably would have never gotten caught. He had to put his mark in the left-hand leg of the R in E pluribus unum, so the R in pluribus. You'll see that there's a little ring in that lower left leg. And that is his calling card. That was his marker. The other mistake that he made is not changing the planchets out, or not changing the die markers out, so he didn't make multiple dies. What happened is that you've seen the same die markers in a couple different years. You don't normally see that. You might see it in consecutive years, so you might see something when you're looking at like the 1840s to 1840 to 1841. You might see where there's specific die markers and things of that nature that show up. But you're not going to see it in a coin that's 5 years later. Those die markers change because the dies change, the hubs change, the designs change. And so you're not going to see those specific markers. And so to see the same markers across 4 different years spread over a 12-year time frame, that was a red flag to the numismatic people who were looking into this. And when they reported it to the FBI didn't believe them. They were like, well, who would do that, right? But they were able to, find his little calling card. The same thing goes with what many called the perfect counterfeit, or the near perfect counterfeit, which was the Omega Man gold dollar. Now there was a $3 variety. There was a $20 gold piece that was 1907, I believe. And this one had one unique characteristic, and that was there's 2 locations for it depending upon the denomination. But in one denomination, if you look at the claws of the eagle, there is a little space. There's a small area in the field where there's a little omega symbol. The other one is in the R on E pluribus, and it's it's just a little omega symbol. And this little omega symbol is, again, it's that vanity piece. It's the calling card. Now, there's multiple reasons why they do this. The most believed reason why people put their calling cards in there is that it no longer becomes counterfeit. It becomes a forgery. And there's little differences, little nuances, because that wasn't a design element. I can't confirm that that's the exact reason. I personally believe that it had something to do with vanity. There could have been some legal protection areas around this that makes sense when you're looking at some of the laws that target counterfeiting. So it definitely does make sense that people would have implemented strategies to reduce potential sentences and fines should they got caught. But in the case of the Omega Man, which it's made of gold, it in some cases was it would test positive. I mean, it would test for gold. When you put it on there, the weight would be close, the dimensions would be spot on. If it wouldn't have been for that calling card, it was just amazing, right? Because it was so perfect. They believe, I can't state this for fact, because there's still a lot about this story that they don't know the information about. But that the first uh, 20 or 200 or something like that were actually made from an actual uh, mint die. They got their hands on one, it began to break down, so the designers went through and redesigned it. Again, there's a lot of hearsay because the people who did the Omega Man, or the person who did the Omega Man, some believe it's a team, some believe it's an individual, some believe it's somebody who worked at the mint and was able to get their hands on some items. Um, we don't actually know, right? There was a story that happened a little while back in which somebody shared a bunch of information. Um, Coin Help You is working on that particular story, so if you're interested, go check out Coin Help You. Follow the Omega Man series that he's doing. It's really brilliant if you're interested in counterfeits and understanding kind of what happened with that particular story. It really is remarkable to talk about what happened. But what I want to do is I want to get back into the premise of counterfeiting and talk about why counterfeiting is such a problem. And, anybody who has come across, I'm going to check over here, make sure we see people. Yeah, so I appreciate the conversation. I'm not looking at chat right now, so I apologize if you're writing something in chat directly to me. I've got some things that I have up on my screen that I'm trying to focus on, so please forgive me for not looking at chat. But there's a couple things when you're looking at um, counterfeiting being a problem, outside of the fact that you spend good money and find out it's fake. You're out money and you're also bummed. There's a lot more that people need to understand, and that is the fact that there are serious economic issues that occur from forgery. And as I stated before, whether you believe it or not, it's actually warfare. Now, many people know about conventional warfare and shooting guns, tanks, and long range warfare, firing missiles, and things of that nature. Many people are familiar with cyber warfare, the act of phishing or trying to hack into somebody's system for nefarious purposes to either take them down or do whatever. This is something that people are aware of. But there is a very real type of warfare that affects numismatics by default because it's what we do, and that is economic warfare. And economic warfare is utilized to destabilize economies. And it can be in the form of changes in currency, it can be by product, it can be by company defamation. There's so many methods by which economic warfare happens. But whether you think of counterfeiting or not as being something that is um, warfare, by default it is. And I want people to really understand that when you buy from certain areas, and I'm going to only list two, there's a lot more than this, um, but when you support the purchase of counterfeit items, you're kind of helping the problem. So there are a couple places where if you buy from, you're most likely going to be getting something fake. Alibaba is a good one, and Etsy are probably two of the other ones. Now, we know that there are people who utilize different platforms. The selling platforms, the e-commerce platforms, have made it easier for the distribution of counterfeit products and counterfeit goods. Many people have bought items. Now, I personally picked up this coin, and I've done this when I first started out in the hobby. I think it was probably my third or fourth video, as a matter of fact. I purchased a trade dollar. I thought that this trade dollar was real. It was the right year. They had all the information in there correctly, or so I thought. This is something I want to talk about here in just a minute. It's very, very important to pay attention to. It looked good. There were good, clean details. It wasn't mushy. It didn't look old. But there were a couple of things about this that when you look at it, I'm going to put it up kind of closer. I'm going to put it under the microscope too. It's really, really, really clean. And that should have been kind of flag number one. These are trade dollars. A lot of these had markers and things of that nature. Some of the weights would be off. The rims are perfect. It's a little bit too shiny. It's got too much of a reflective field. They didn't do the proof variety in this particular one. So there were some things that should have stood out to me. But as a new beginning numismatic collector, I really wasn't paying attention to these types of things. Now, fortunately, in my case, when I purchased this particular item, I talked to the eBay person and said, they don't offer, in their listing, they said that they don't offer returns. And I said, well, I won't purchase an item unless it's guaranteed. Because when I get it, I'm going to have it tested. I'm going to take it in and have it looked at. If I find there's any issues with you, would you honor that? And they sent to me in an email that said that we honor this. I asked them to put that in the conversation in the eBay listing, and they did that. So when I got it in, went and had it weighed. I weighed it. It didn't weigh right. Did the ping test. It didn't sound right. Looked at the dimensions. The dimensions were right. Looked at the diameter, and the diameter was right. The circumference was right. The thickness of the item was correct, but it didn't test right as far as the sound, and it didn't test right as far as the weight. So pretty much knowing at that time I didn't get an authentic product, I took it into my local coin shop, asked them to run it, and it just wasn't even close. And so contacted them back and said this is indeed fake. So I'll return this to you, but I want you to be aware that I'm going to be monitoring this, and if this is put back up, then I'm going to be reporting it to eBay. And they obviously took it back, refunded my money. There was no issue there. But I did report the transaction to eBay to let them know, so that if this particular coin got put back up, that they would be able to track it. Now, did they do anything with it? Probably not. But eBay does have a few things in place, and if you suspect reporting, or you suspect counterfeit, or you look at something, for instance, encapsulated items, and I don't have my encapsulated piece with me right now, but I do have a piece that had been created to show just how easy it is to do encapsulation. This particular piece has been reported to NGC as well as PCGS. It was a 1907 Godden's Double Eagle. Now, this one was really funny because it's in a PCGS holder, but it has an NGC logo. It has the NGC label. When you turn it over and you scan it, it scans to NGC, not PCGS. But again, it's in the wrong type holder and it's got the wrong type label. The label is not correct. The label is centered incorrectly. It doesn't have the right logo on it. It doesn't have certain markers. And then the actual encapsulation is missing the PCGS component in the bottom right hand side. And so there are things about it that made it very clear that it was fake. But what the purpose was this was to show that it's really easy for people to do this. In fact, in a conversation that I was having with a channel yesterday was that you can buy PCGS encapsulation pieces from Alibaba. When you look at things like Etsy, you can find, a $100 1907 Godden's Double Eagle. It's not real because that particular piece outside of limited quantities is $20,000-$30,000 coin when they're talking about it being in mint state 62. So when you're looking at why they do this, it's a money grab, right? And if you spend a bunch of money on items, and we're going to talk here in just a few moments about items that are not as pricey, not as expensive, but again, it's more about quantity than it is about the item itself. A coin crew and I had a conversation a while back about running a coin shop. And people, when you have a coin shop, it's brick and mortar. There's there's margins. You're talking about margins of things, 2%, 5%, 8%, 10%. And you have to deal in volume. And people go, well, you're charging this much money or you run this much money in a particular auction. But when you're looking at, he's got to pay for the lighting, he's got to pay for his subscriptions and the memberships, he's got to pay obviously himself. He doesn't pay himself a whole lot of money. Um, he's got to pay for the lights, he's got to pay for the brick and mortar in the store, so that by the time he's done, his profit margin is very, very small. So he has to deal in quantity. And a lot of these counterfeiters work in the same premise. You may counterfeit a $50 coin, and when they're looking at the gain from this particular item, if they spent $5 doing this, there's a $45 profit margin for them. But a lot of these counterfeiters are counterfeiting things that just are worthless. They're, a 1959 unremarkable Philadelphia penny or cent. If Paula was in the stream and she heard me say cent or penny, she'd come unglued. Because it's a cent. A penny is as European for the pence. But again, when they're looking at these, they're dealing in large margins. And so you can pick up, now, again, talking with Eric Bayer at Copper Coins, Chuck Daughtry purchased an entire set of fake cents, like 1909 to 1959, because he wanted to see them and study them and look at them and investigate them. Because it's important to understand the fake. It's important to understand the forgery in order to be able to combat it, to be able to identify against it. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says that not only are products to attack the name and value of particular items, and when they were talking about this particular item, they were talking about counterfeiting in the industrial realm, but it goes for the numismatics as well. But when you're looking at counterfeiting in the industrial side, so let's say that you cycle and you buy a helmet that's counterfeit, it doesn't meet safety standards. So in many cases, it could be fatal. Now, we're not going to buy a 1 gram piece of gold that's fake and we're not going to die from it. We may be upset. It will be, a loss because it's not going to be any good. But we don't have fatal consequences for this. But there are major economic consequences for this, and it's important to really understand this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my camera real quick, and I'm going to show you, you'll see a little shift here, and you're going to see, and I'm going to come off camera, shift my camera over here just a little bit while I maneuver this. This is a 1877 Indian head cent. And there's a couple things that I want to show you when you're looking at counterfeits. Now, let me move my camera over a little bit. I got this set up to where it doesn't shift, and it's going to shift on me just because I don't want it to. There we go. All right, so when we're looking at this particular coin, there's a couple things that I want you to focus on. The first thing I want you to focus on is I want you to look at the feathers. And you can see that the feathers in the headdress, there's really no detail. You can see a good solid strike. You can see a lot of good edges, right? And that's because this particular coin was molded. So you don't, when you do this particular item, you're not going to get the details in the feather. Now, you don't see anywhere on the high areas of the cheek. So those details in the feathers definitely should be there. When you're looking at the Liberty, you're looking at the letters. Yeah, you can see the sand cast. Yeah, see that's, it's very grainy. But there are no details in this particular one. Now, the thing that always makes me laugh, and this is something, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and this is probably one of the things that gets me the most, is when you look at the detail within this particular cent, there's going to be something that you see that really stands out like a sore thumb. And it drives me insane to look at this and go, they took all this time and effort, but I mean, look at the letters or the numbers. Okay. Oh, lost that for a second. There we go. So look at how horrible the lettering is. It's ridiculous, right? Hey, Angry Warrior, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. You can come back and watch the rest of this later, not a big deal. But I appreciate you coming in and spending time here. Um, hey, Herman, how you doing, brother? Um, but look at this. I mean, you can see that the sevens are very, very wonky. They don't have the artistic style. They are not clean. They're a total mess. It's just absolutely horrific when you're looking at the details. And I'm sure that Eric's over there smiling because it's horrible. You see, there's no uniformity. When you look at the N next to the U, you can see that line that would go across the bottom from the U to the I, that N is squished into place. It's actually raised up above the stylization of the N on the lower right hand side where it comes down doesn't go down far enough, so it doesn't actually meet it. You can see the oversized E. The E actually comes up above the T in United there. Um, when you look at the states, again, the A has the same issue. If you look at the ST in the very beginning, you can see that they don't match the rest of states. They're actually much larger. They don't follow the same subscription as the rest of them. The S's don't even look the same. If you look at the two S's, one's much larger than the other. And so there's a lot of things, and then this is what Eric was talking about, where you can see that really that sandy, grainy field. Now, one of the things that I asked Eric to kind of enlighten me on a little bit was what happens when they do like CNC machines? What happens when they look at, and we did a little bit of research together, kind of watched a couple videos, looked at some things. And again, you'll see stylized markings. I'm going to go ahead and swing back over to where I was before, but you can see like these stylized markings and things of that nature where you can see the cross-hatching pattern. You can see the lines in the particular item. So it's important when you're looking at these things to check for some of those items. You're looking for the really soft strike, right? You're looking for the lack of detail. And there are certain items that if you don't see any wear on the cheek, but you don't see any detail in the lettering or the headdress, or you see wear in really weird places or low areas of the coin, those are telltale signs that you need to look back at it. Coin Crew, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you gracing us with your presence. Now, you guys are not having your auction today, is that correct? I believe I remember hearing Miss Coin Crew saying you guys are not doing your auction today. Maybe tomorrow. Okay. All right. So normally what I would do is I would take this stream and we would stream directly into Coin Crew's auction, but they're not going to be having it today. So today we'll just be ending. We'll find somebody else that's on and we'll stream into their stuff. But moving forward on Sundays, we'll go ahead and stream straight into Coin Crew's auction. Yeah, but there is no auction today, so you won't have to worry about that. We'll find somebody else who's streaming and we'll send everybody over there. Again, when you're looking at these though, there's just some things that really stand out. Now, when you look at, this is going to be obviously the Morgan dollar. Now, the field in this one actually is really nice, but there's some things when you're looking at the lettering on this one that stands out. You can see some of the soft details in the hair. Again, it's important to look at this next to a real one. The important thing when you're looking at the hair within a Morgan is the detail there? Or is it just the basic outline? Is it just the basic design is there? But again, you know, there's a lot of things that you can look at, but you can see that while the hair looks pretty good, it just doesn't have the normal detail. It doesn't have the specifics. When you flip this over and you get into the breast feathers, again, the breast feathers on a Morgan with this type of stamp should be fairly strong, but you can see that they're muted. There's no detail within the breast feathers. It's kind of just this really, really bare chested. There's no details in the wings. When you look down here, um, there's just no details in the feathers of the arrows. Um, Again, there, you can see that it's just a really lackluster stamp. Um, yeah, again, it's just everybody's talking coffee, and I'm going, I can't get any more coffee. I need more coffee. Hey, sweetheart, if you're watching the stream, can you bring me more coffee? She's not going to be watching the stream. Um, but I just kind of wanted to show you a couple examples of some counterfeit coins. Now, I want to kind of step backwards a little bit and talk about uh, a recent counterfeit story. I haven't seen him in stream, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and talk about what happened. Now, yesterday I kind of alluded to this, so if you were in the stream yesterday, you would have heard me allude to this. I said that it was Happy Chappy. Happy Chappy was with um, Just Stack It, who happened to buy a, well, what was it? Oh, I'm going to have to look at my phone. I can't remember what the name of it was. Um, do, 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 do. Stone Mountain. So he actually sent me. I'm going to go ahead and read this. He put a video out on it. So go watch Just Stack It's video on this. But I'm going to kind of give you the nuts and bolts. I'm going to read you basically what he sent me. He said the short of this story is that I was at a coin show. I was at a specific dealer's table and they had a really nice Stone Mountain, but they were asking a lot for it. I didn't want to pay that much at the time, so I asked them if they had one of lower grade. They did, and pointed me to a lesser quality, toned up Stone Mountain. Just wanting a Stone Mountain for my collection, I agreed to the price, which was much lower at $50 for the coin. It wasn't until I saw the Coin Help Use video on the Counterfeit Stone Mountain that I realized that there was a problem. All the things that he pointed out, the flags in the videos, the characteristics of the coin that I had purchased were there. So I took it to a coin shop near me, and they not only looked through the XRF, but found that it was only 75% copper. The thing I can't tell by looking at it is that it's not 90% silver. It's very odd because the toning hides a lot of the surface. It just so happened to be lucky that the coin dealer's phone number to try to catch up with or reach out to him, so he was able to quickly remedy the situation and get a hold of him and get his money back. But the reason that I wanted to kind of share that story was this is somebody who was a stacker who was looking to increase his stack, who purchased a numismatic item because they're interested in the numismatics, right? Even stackers love good coin design, right? But it points to the fact that if you're going to be dealing with coinage at all, whether it be stacking or whether it be in a numismatic field, you need to understand some of the basic premises for identifying things of counterfeits. But it also goes to having a trusted source. Now, when I did my other counterfeiting series, one of the common things that I would say all the time is have a trusted source. You need somebody that you can take your items to and have them look at. Now, when we were in Tulsa, um, Silver Seeker brought his tester with him, and I'm not sure if Coin Crew did as well, but just to make sure that when they had the item, they would actually test the item there. You had the ping testers and stuff that were there. There were the slides If you're not familiar with what a slide is, it's a nickel cadmium earth magnet. It's put at a 45-degree angle. Now, silver is non-magnetic, but as you slide down, it does cause these eddies that disrupt the slide flow. And so as it slides down, it will slide at a slower rate than something that is like brass or copper. Brass or copper will slide down pretty quickly, while there are eddy currents that are caused from the silver, and they'll actually go down at a slow rate. They're a really good tool to have. You can pack these in a little kit with you when you go to these places, and you can test them. That particular test might have saved just stack it. Having a coin tester testing it would have definitely yielded a different sound. There are coin test apps that you can utilize. So you have the ping tester. You can put your coin in, ding it, hit it. I think you hit it 3 times, and then the app will actually tell you whether or not the tonal quality is what it is for that particular metal. So you go in and you click the year and the item, and then it'll bring up this little screen. It has your oscillograph there. You ding ding ding, and then it gives you your marks. It'll cycle through, and then it'll tell you whether it's good or bad. So there's things that you can do and carry with you when you go to these coin shops that are really good to try out. Now I'm going to tell you, if you're at a coin shop or you're at a coin show and you have a coin and you get ready to purchase it and you want to test it and they get bent out of whack at you, it's, unless it's a really, I mean, you're not going to unslab something, right? But again, there's no reason why, if you purchase a coin, you can't just slide over and test it. Because again, it's about integrity. You know, you're going to be challenging kind of their integrity. So they shouldn't have a problem with it, because they should be selling real authentic items. If you go to a place and they are bent out of whack or they're upset, it could be a flag. It may not be. It could be that they don't have time or space. But do it while you're there. Don't walk away from the table and then come back. They're going to question, well, is that the coin that I sold you? And that happens. Bait and switch happens a lot at a coin show. It happened in Tulsa, where people switched out coins that were high value with something that wasn't, very, very quickly and in front of the person. Theft and things like that nature, things like that are also unfortunately prevalent at coin shows as well. But if you're going to do it, don't walk away. Test it right there and make sure, because then you can immediately deal with it. I will say this: there are certain collectors that may not even know. We had a lot of YouTube people in Tulsa that they might not have known something was real. They might not have known something was fake. And so people may have stuff they may not know. Now, I'm not going to be the devil's advocate and say, you know, well, these people don't know. I'm not going to call them out and say that they always know. But test it. Make sure you're understanding what you're buying. Again, you're protecting yourself, but you're protecting others. So test it. If it is fake, don't let them put it back in their display case. Bring it to the attention. Like if we were at Tulsa, I would have went and grabbed Mike and said, hey, that coin is fake. They cannot sell that coin, because it's not only the right thing to do, but it's due diligence, right? You want to make sure that you're sharing that. Jackalope Herdmaster, thanks for coming in. Kraken Travis, thank you for being here. Siren, thank you so much for popping into the stream. Jeff Davis, I have not been paying attention to chat, so I apologize if you've come in. Ike's Girl, thank you for coming in. Kinomine, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if I'm missing you, Flipsides, how are you? Thank you for stopping in. It's good to see you in the stream. Yeah, and Coin Crew said the same. Says reputation of those you buy from is extremely important. Don't underestimate the value of word of mouth. You'll know very quickly when you're dealing with people whether they're trustworthy or not. But again, even people with good reputations um, can do things inadvertently and can have things inadvertently. But you're less likely to run into an issue with a counterfeit item from somebody who's reputable and somebody who's trustworthy. And again, they're most likely not going to get upset if you ask them, hey, do you mind if we test this before I finish the purchase? Um, because again, they know that it's about it's about protection. It's about the consumer, and they want to know if something's fake. There's coin shows, there's coin shops that happen a lot of the time. Bait and the hook. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in. Begotten. Thanks you for coming in. There are a lot of counterfeit items that come into many shops. Now, I'm not brick and mortar, right? I'm just a little collector, a guy who has this small YouTube channel that likes to share information and educate people on things that I learn. If people express interest, then that's my goal, is to share information, to learn about this hobby, to provide information. But I'm not a brick and mortar shop. I don't see a lot of counterfeit items. So I keep a couple items that I look at from time to time to remind me of those things that I need to be looking for. They are marked. If I'm going to do stuff like I did a video on whizzing a coin, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to be putting a mark in the coin specifically that damages the coin to the point to where somebody's not going to want to buy it. Because what I want to do is I want to be able to utilize it as a reference. Now, if you want to learn, go to a coin shop and say, I want to see some counterfeits. I want to learn about what to look for. I want to learn what to look at. And if this is something, he's just a guy with a coin shop. But I'm sure Coin Crew would do the same thing. If you walked into his coin shop and said, hey, I want to learn a little bit about this, assuming that the coin shop's not slammed, there's not a ton of people, I'm sure that Coin Crew would take time to show you a couple and give you an idea of what to look at. Put them next to each other, do the ping test, maybe even put them on a Sigma and show you how the different items read. Because if you are if you're a brick and mortar coin shop, then integrity is everything, right? And this is one reason for those of you that saw the exchange for him and I. Integrity is what builds bonds. It builds that relationship. It's going to make you go back to that. And when you're talking about counterfeiting, when you're talking about making sure you're getting good, solid, authentic information, good, solid coinage or currency, you want to make sure that you have a good relationship with somebody, because if you bring something in and they tell you that it's fake, it's going to be much easier. Not that it's going to be easier to hear, but you're looking at reliable information. You're getting good, solid information, and it's not somebody trying to take you. Now, I will say that in having many conversations with people who have brick and mortar shops, they get abused a lot by people because they take in coins, they tell them that they're fake, and they tell them that they're there to rip them off, that they're there to steal from them, that they're there um, to be nefarious, that their intent is to, you just don't want to buy my collection. You know it's valuable. You just don't want to give me the money for it. Coin Help You, I've talked about them a couple times. They've taken a 2x4 and went and stuck a nickel on the road, and bam, 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 and then showed the coin. It's like, I have people come in saying this is a damaged coin or this is an error coin. And it's like, no, it's damaged. And they get ticked off because that's not what they want to hear. So understand that a little bit of grace sometimes with the brick and mortar folks, because they get a lot of abuse when it comes to this. But it's very important for you to establish and cultivate good relationships with people, because I'll tell you right now, I know that if I get something and I need it tested, there's a couple of shops locally that I could send it to. But I would have no problem packaging it up and sending it to Coin Crew and saying, hey, can you run the tests on this? Um, because their reputation precedes them as good, reliable, honest, trustworthy folks. And so because of that, I would send that to them. There are other people. I would send it to Coin Help You. I would send it to Silver Seeker. I would send it from Mike and Mid America Coins. I would send it to the Durbans. There are people that I would send stuff to make sure. Now the Durbans don't own brick and mortar, but I know that they're them to be trustworthy. So there are people who I would send the information to that I would have them check it out. And you need to cultivate relationships and friendships with people to be able to do this. But again, I wanted to highlight a little bit of what happened with Just Stack It. He's one of our community members. We know who he is. We know he's a stacker who's involved in collecting in numismatics as well as stacking. Primarily, he's a stacker, but he does have a love for good integral art pieces. And for those of us who are pure numismaticists who do stacking, we're in it for the beauty of the coin. We're in it for the history of the coin. But if you're a stacker and you're looking at these things, it's very important for you to understand the premise of what to look for in numismatic items. Now, there are other things regarding what to look for when you're looking at gold and silver counterfeits, particular gold counterfeits. When you're looking at things like, let's say you're getting a PAMP essay, look at the dimensions, right? Look at the weight. Have it tested. There are assay tests that can be done to do that. So if you're a stacker, there are countermeasures that you can be putting in place as well to make sure that you're stacking good gold and good silver. The ping tests are often great for silver, but you want to make sure that you're running assay tests. So it's good to have assay tests. There's the scratch tests that you can do. Now, you're obviously not going to want to do that on a high numismatic value coin. So having things like taking stuff to a sigma, understanding the dimensions, understanding um, the thickness, understanding the weight, what the millimeters are. You can get nerdy, like Just Stack It, and if you have something where you can actually, take calipers and look at it, calipers are not a bad thing to have in your toolkit when it comes to being a stacker or being a pneumaticist. I don't have one, but definitely need to get a ping test kit. That is one thing that I do need to have. I don't have a slide. Again, that is something else that I need to purchase. I'm talking about all these things. Many of them I haven't purchased yet. I need to get it. Not having those in my toolkit makes me a bigger, it puts me at higher risk for getting something that is fake. So those things are definitely something that I need to make sure that I'm having in my toolkit as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hold on just a sec. Let me see if I can pull up chat here real quick. I need to pop out chat. The window that it's in is really small. All right, let's see. Frost, you're going to design a tester cheaper than, you know, it's really difficult when you look at designing these things. I'm going to tell you that for what they did, the price isn't actually that bad. You can get a ping tester from the links in our videos. Cool. You want to do me a favor? Throw that link in there, and that would be good to have. When you're talking about designing something like that, a lot of people don't understand some of the specifics that go with it. For instance, when you're looking at the information, when you're looking about what it takes to put something together, you have the parts. So the parts themselves, if they 3D print them, that is time, that is material, that is electricity. So when you're looking at doing the item, it's there's a lot more than just the cost of the item. When you're looking at doing the plastic or the rubber holder, you want to make sure that the right kind. So you can buy them in bulk, but again, that 5, 6, 7 cents plus the time that it takes to open the package, put them on, get them on. It all takes time and money. The other thing is packaging, advertisement, things of that nature. So while it does seem like a fairly heavy cost, it is it is all the things that come into play when you're trying to market something of that nature. I guarantee that the people who develop that probably don't have a very high overhead, or they probably have a decent overhead, but they don't have a very high margin of profit. They probably don't make more than $3 or $4 off of each one of those. They could make a little bit more. You can try to develop your own if you want to. Will I be designing one? Probably not. Um, but the ping testers for, 30 bucks, 35 bucks, whatever they are, I think they might have changed prices a little bit. Um, but they're worth it. I mean, when you look at spending 30, 40 bucks, that is an ounce of silver, but that one piece can be utilized over and over and over and over again. And safety of mind, the premise that you're protecting yourself, in my opinion, is worth an ounce of silver. Just my opinion. Um, I would much rather know that the pieces that I buy from there on out are good. I will be buying one. I will also be buying a slide. These are things that I need to be putting into my stack. I just haven't done it yet. Um, there's so many things with trying to stream. Everybody who streams or puts together something of that nature knows there's a lot of cost associated with that. Paula, good morning, Paula. How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Um, there's a lot of little pieces that you can do. Now, I see a lot of people putting into comments regarding XRF testers and Sigma. Yeah, see, this is why a relationship with a coin shop is important, right? Because those are the Sigmas are for the low end, like $800-900. They go $2,000-3,000-4,000. The XRF testers, they go even higher, especially when you're looking at specific metal content. Some of the really nice ones are upwards of 7 or 8 grand. Um, so this is why it's really good to establish a relationship with a coin shop, because it's important to, uh, there's no way that I'm going to be buying one of those. Just can't afford it. There's too much cost associated with it. I've got other things that I need to invest money into, um, specifically, a better microphone. That's one thing that I do need to do. I need to be putting in I got a decent camera. I got a couple cameras that set up. I do need to do some lighting. Now, these are all niceties, but the ping tester and the slide are probably two things that will be my next purchases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over here to chat. So first off, I want to ask the question, did you guys find this stream of value? Is this something that you guys enjoyed? Is this something that you would like to hear more about? Because if this is the kind of stuff that you want to learn about, is there a specific type of coin that you want to look at? Is there a specific set of tests? Do you want me to bring in people? Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Do you want me to bring in special guests that can actually do this, that have done the research? I'm going to be having more people on. I think I finally figured out how to bring a guest onto Streamlab and have good quality sound. I think I've understood that piece of information, so I'm going to be adding that. I wanted to do this in Streamlabs today because of the camera setup, but when I do the other one, I'll probably be doing it from StreamYard. It will be a little bit different. There's a difference that I have to do in setting up the stream if I'm going to be having a panel. But if that's something that you want to do, I'm going to be working with some people and I'll do that. Jedi Master Deb, thank you. Always terrific information. I appreciate that. For those of you who don't know, I enjoy this. Okay, I enjoy learning information and sharing information with you. I try to do good research and make sure that I provide you the best quality information. Doesn't mean I'm always going to be 100% accurate. So if you hear me say something that is a little bit off, I'm going to tell you, correct me. One of my friends in the stream, Paula, has done that very much very much. That was great English. Wow. Has done this frequently. Um, and said, hey, great information. That's just a little bit off. This is what you're looking for. This is what you've done. Here's the information. I respect the hell out of that. So I know that there's a couple people in the stream that have done that for me in the past. So if you hear me relay a little bit of incorrect information or just slightly off information, please let me know. I want to make sure that the information that I provide you is the best that it can be. I want to make sure that I give you good, solid information. And I want to make sure that people use the information to safeguard themselves. This is about history. This is about protection. Army of Shadows, thank you so much for being in here, brother. Brother Rat, thank you for coming in. Again, you guys, I appreciate you gracing the stream. So before we leave, I want you guys to be entering something into chat. I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Now, I don't know if he's in the stream. I've been looking very, very sporadically at the stream. I'm going to try and check it now. Is Great Scott in the stream? I don't see him. So I don't see Great Scott. Now I want to do a call out to Great Scott. Great Scott has done a lot in really helping me improve the look and feel of the stream. He's given me some information on how to do things like blend my screens, how to properly set stuff up. He provides me feedback all the time on audio, things like that. Ruby Red, thanks for coming in. You got to go, but I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Tara, I don't see him in chat either. But anyway, I want to thank Great Scott. He offered me some great information based off of yesterday. That was one thing that I wanted to. I had tweaked the information in my audio. Unfortunately, I probably did it backwards. So Eric and them, thank you for letting me know at the beginning of the stream that my audio was a little off. I've got the settings down. The volume should be a little bit better. I am going to be coming along with the homework is coming. I still got to reach out to him and get the specifics. That's going to happen later today. Trying to recover from the Tulsa Coin Show and getting the streams for today and yesterday and today put together. But I'll be reaching out to him today and beginning that work. I'll definitely be reaching out to you, follow up. Thank you for reminding me of that. I am so looking forward to it. Chief is pushing the Jags to go all the way to the Super Bowl in 2024. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. They do have a good team, but if you're a betting man, then you need to go listen to what Chief has to say about that. But we'll see. There's a couple other good options for Super Bowl, but they do have some potential. But yeah, I'm not sure that the Jags are going to be there. Eric, who are they? Just kidding. One of my favorite jokes. You can utilize it for any sports team if you're a sports fan, and that is, my wife was using the vacuum the other day and it quit picking stuff up. It would not pick anything up. So I went and I grabbed my Dallas Cowboy jersey, threw it over the vacuum, and it immediately started sucking again. You can utilize it for anyone. If you use it for Seahawks, you can use it for the Jags. You can use it for whatever. But anyway, it's a good joke. If you're a sports fan, you have the opportunity. That'll be a good one. Yeah, again, William E., Sigmas are expensive. You're better off just saving that money, throw it into your stack, buying some good quality numismatic items, and reaching out to you. But Chief, I'll put up a 1 ounce silver bet. Oh, you got that. That's easy. Easy peasy. It'll be a ship coin for certain. Okay? Yeah, you got that. We're on it, Chief. We're good. I like the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills haven't done anything since the '80s, so my team ain't ever going to make it there. It's all good. I am a Denver fan. Grew up in the Mountain State, so I am a Denver fan as well. But I don't see Denver's doing okay, but they haven't really done much the last decade. But yeah, you got that, Chief. We got you. Um, yeah, we'll be doing some more. But if you like this particular content, if you like the counterfeit series, then let me know. Again, if you have insights or information that you want to learn about, whether it be numismatic, whether it be stacking, whether it be specific items in the field of collecting, you know that I enjoy doing the Ships on Coin series. That series is going to be wrapping up here in the next week or so. I'm probably going to be doing two more videos. I think probably the video that's being released tonight will be the last one. Oh, no, I take that back. There's going to be two more. Next week is a special series, the July 16th. For those of you that don't know, that is the 52nd anniversary of us landing on the moon. Um, that's going to be the Apollo 11. I've got the Apollo 11 coin. I've got a video that's going to be released. So next week on Sunday, we're going to be talking about the Apollo 11 spacecraft. We're going to be talking about the history of space flight. We're going to be talking about how they did that. We're going to be talking about the coins themselves, the different varieties of that particular item that you can get, where they're at. So check that out. You don't want to invest in a Sigma, buy only from people you trust. Yeah, again, I would be buying a $800 piece from something that you can go out and you can reach out to a local coin shop and have them do stuff. It's far better to buy from people that you trust than to spend a lot of money on something and spend carelessly. Uh, really focus on the relationships. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that I say this a lot. Our community is great in that fact, but relationships matter, right? It's going to be the relationship that you establish that's going to help you ensure that you get better quality items. In many cases, it may not help you get better prices. You may get some better prices if you are in the right place at the right time with a trusted source. For instance, the elephant round that I bought from Coin Crew, I got that a little bit better price simply because he opened it at the show. When he does it in the stream, might be the same price, might not be. Uh, so being in the right place at the right time is more important than buying a Sigma tester and then buying a whole bunch of random stuff and then hoping you don't get caught with a fake. But really work with work with people. So again, my nearest LCS is hundreds of miles away. There are people within the community that you can send stuff to that will test it and verify it, validate it, and send it back to you. Um, Now, granted, I know that it would be great to have all this stuff. Now, if you're hell bent on spending $800 to get one of these, do it. Um, it wouldn't be my recommendation. I wouldn't recommend you doing that. Joe de Greenwood, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here today. Now, could you invest in something like that? Yeah, but there are other tools that are cheaper. There are other items that you can buy that will give you a good majority. Now, here's my recommendation. Take it for what it's worth. Everybody's different. Okay, so if you don't like what I'm laying down, then you don't have to accept it. You don't have to go with it. But here's what I suggest. Buy you a ping tester. Buy you a slide, get the app. Buy you a small scale, okay? Now, when I say a small scale, I'm talking one like this, okay? You open it up, you have the little item, you can get different ones, it's not a big deal. You put it on there, it tells you, I've got this little card that I've got that tells you some of the basics. It doesn't tell you all of them, but it does tell you some of the primary ones, right? So you'll want to look at that. If not, keep a spreadsheet or open up one of the apps that talk about. I have Gold Sniping Farmer. I do have Just Stack its email. I'll give you that here in just a moment. Um, but buy one of these, right? And then weigh everything. Anything that comes across, weigh it. Whenever I'm doing coin searches, and I haven't been able to do coin searches because of my eyes, it goes on my scale before it goes on my microscope. If it's off, especially if I'm looking at something like a 1983 cent, I'm going to be weighing every 83 cent, every 84 cent that comes through. I'm going to want to know. If I think I find an error coin or something like that, off-center planchet, if I have a really weak strike, I'm going to be weighing it because I want to know whether or not that information or whether or not the planchet is underweight. I want to know if it's on the right planchet. If I find a nickel that has no rim and it looks kind of coppery, I'm going to weigh it. This is a really good investment. They're not very expensive. They're extremely valuable. Uh, Gold Sniping Farmer, no problem. I'll make sure that you get it though. Okay, I have your email, so I'll fire that off to you. Coin Crew just put in the link for the ping tester. Okay, go click on the ping tester. Download that app. Make sure that it's there. I'll do some demos. Maybe next Saturday, I'll continue the counterfeit conversation. I'll see if I can purchase. I'm not sure I'll be able to in that time frame. Um, let me see what I can work out. I'll figure out what I'll do, but maybe I can get somebody online and we can do some tests. Maybe next Saturday. I will put out a short by Wednesday, letting everybody know what the item is going to be for Saturday. So I'll put that out so that everybody can kind of track what next Saturday is going to be. I'll continue the conversation and we'll talk about, that's probably exactly what I'm going to talk about. We'll talk about the tools that you can invest. We'll give you a basic price range and, we'll try to keep the investment at under $100. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I need to look at some prices, but we'll look and see what kind of coin test kit you can put together for under $100. So maybe that'll be next Saturday's discussion on the Numismatic Nexus. I think that'll be something that'll be extremely beneficial. So I'm going to run over here to chat and kind of see what's going on in chat. Yeah, against an army, it's a good scale. I've got another one. There's, for those of you that are in states where things are legal, you can go to your local shop and buy scales for cheap. You don't need anything that's major. You can get bigger ones if you're looking at things like yeah, Paula, that's true. And we talked about uh, there's a number of things that you can do to detect that. Looking at the strike, looking at the weight, looking at the dimensions, looking at, because as Paul had indicated here, we talked about the counterfeits that are being struck on gold planchets or silver planchets where they test out at 60 or 70% gold. Again, this is where the relationship, there's other things that you can utilize to detect. Um, there are some, there's a question in here, I'll get to it in just a second, from Ike's Girl, is what the most counterfeited ASC. Um, I don't know the answer to that, but based off of just kind of volumes, the number of ASCs that are out there, obviously I would say probably the 1986 and then the 1996. Those are the two key years. 2004 is probably another high year for ASC counterfeits. When you're looking at mintages usually are a good detection of things that you need to be looking for within counterfeits. Look at the price, 1909 SVDB, obviously one of the most highly counterfeited coins that there are. When you're looking at the 1914D cent, highly, it makes the top 5 in NGC's list of the top 20 most counterfeited coin. The 1922 no D, right, where they've scratched off the D, or when you're looking at the 1914, looking at the gap between the 9 and the first one, where they've scratched off the first letters of the 4. Um, so when you're looking at counterfeits or fakes or altered coins and things of that nature, it's important to be familiar with those high date or the low mintages or the high sought after dates, the high value, the high dollar value coins. They're usually going to top off at your most counterfeited coin. The 1877 cent, when you're looking at the different varieties of um, Morgan dollars. Now, I don't even pretend to know a lot of information about the Morgan dollars. Morgan dollars is not something that I had started to collect until fairly recently. I probably don't have more than 15 Morgan dollars in my collection. So I'm not the best person to talk to about Morgans. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of Morgan dollar aficionados out there that can tell you a lot more about that. Coin Crew, again, I talk about the Coin Help You a lot. Daniel puts out some extremely good information when it's talking about identifying. Now, I'm going to tell you, we have somebody in our stream right now who's absolutely brilliant, and that's Livecoin Q&A. Livecoin Q&A, if you have any questions, take photos. Good quality photos. Compose a good email. Don't say, hey, tell me about this. Don't do that. Say, I have I can't see the date on this. I have an 1876 trade dollar. It appears to be the right size, the right dimensions. The thickness is a little bit off. It's a little bit underweight. Here's some good quality photos, reverse, obverse, lettering, date, fields. Take good quality photos and then submit either via Facebook or by email to Livecoin Q&A. They have teams of very smart people who will look over the information, will do their research, provide you information, and tell you there's enough information here for me to tell you it's not real. There's not enough information for us to tell you that it's not real. You can send it in. Sean Blue Ridge Silverhound, send it in to him, right? Send it to Paula. They will test, they will look at this information, but don't just send it and say we don't know. Really work with them and find out, because they are brilliant people, right? And they'll work to help you out. If a coin has a future date, it might be, that's a really good piece of advice. But he says something else here that is very important. If a coin has a date that's not in the coin run, it could be a counterfeit. So for instance, if you see a 1856 Indian head penny, Indian head cent, it's not real, right? They didn't start until 1859. So if you see a coin that supersedes the run, if you find a 1914 Mercury dime, it's probably fake, right? Because the Mercury dimes didn't start until 1916. If you're looking at the Indian heads, or you're looking at the Lincoln cent, and you find, they started in 1909. So if you find a 1900 Lincoln head cent, it's a fake, right? So understanding the dates. There's a lot of different things to look at when you're looking at counterfeiting coins. But again, we've got such great resources within our community and a lot of good people who are really here to help you out. There's a lot of good information to be had. Really utilize Livecoin Q&A. No problem, Paula. But it's the truth, right? Understanding, but how many people, by a raise of hands, everybody go into, if you find an 1855 Flying Eagle cent, it may be real. Okay, well, here's the thing. If it's 1 year pre, 1 year post, there very well could be a chance, but you're going to want to send that off to a professional to have it checked. You're going to have some things in place. There's going to have to be documentation that says that that was done. There's going to have to be a die that was created somewhere that shows that that was done. There's going to be clear documentation at the mint, right? There's going to have to be information that is there. It's going to have to be clear documented by a raise of hands. And I really want you all to raise your hands. I want you to go to your emoji, find the hand emoji, and I want you to raise your hand. How many people in chat have heard information or knowledge is power? How many people have heard that? Okay. I want you to raise your hand. And the reason I want you to raise your hand, because if you haven't heard that, I want you to understand that that is absolute fact. Okay. Information is power. And information, when you're talking about getting information on a coin, okay, trusted resources matter. Research matters. Taking good quality photos matter. Telling people what it is about the coin that you're looking for matters, right? Because if I send you a coin and I say, I want you to look at this, they'll go, oh, that's really cool. All right, next, right? If I send them, and I'm gonna get my Morgan dollar. Hey, I purchased this Morgan dollar, and I don't believe it's real. It weighs out right. Oh, let's do this. Oh, by the way, let's do this. I'm going to do this just because you may not get a really good quality image of this, but hold on. I'm trying to get there, let's see here. Oh, what just happened? There we go. That was the Indian, or the Indian. Wow. That was the elephant that I was talking about. So I'm going to show that up there just because it's a really cool piece. I love that piece. But knowledge is power. So if I get this and I'm going to say, hey, I got this Morgan dollar. It weighs out correctly. It pings out correctly. But it doesn't have a really good strike. It has a really good solid strike as far as certain areas, but there's just no detail. There's just no, thank you, Paula. That Indian has tusks. Yes, yes, that Asian Indian. Um, but I'm going to want to make sure that I provide information, because if you send me something and you say, check this out, I'm going to go, that is cool. That's neat. Oh, what do you want me to look at? Oh, what did you want me to look at? And now I've wasted time because now I don't have the information to be able to do that. It should look familiar. I got it from you at the coin show. I was actually there when you opened the package. So that's a beautiful piece. Um, if I'm looking at this cent, right, and I have this cent, hey, I think this coin has been cleaned, right? You can see it's kind of pinkish in color. It looks really coppery. I don't see any lines on it. Can you validate that this coin has in fact been cleaned? And then they come back and they say, well, not only has the coin been cleaned, but it's fake. It's on brass, it's not on copper. They didn't make this particular one if you look at the information. And then they can break out why it is. If you're going to send stuff to Livecoin Q&A, if you're going to send something to Keith, if you're going to be sending something specifically to Sean or somebody of that nature, make sure you provide clear, concise information. Because again, that's going to really help them make a determination of whether or not you can do that. Now, Brother Rat, I believe it was you that says you live hundreds and hundreds of miles away from somebody. If you have a couple coins that you want to get looked at, or you have some items that want to be looked at, reach out to Coin Crew, reach out to Mike at Mid-America Coins, reach out to Paula or those folks at Livecoin Q&A. Let them know that you're going to be sending them a package, that you have items that want to be reviewed, and they'll do that for you, right? This community is really good about making sure they want to track and monitor the detection of fake coins and make sure that they, you know, they protect our hobby. It really is about protecting our hobby. It's about protecting the numismatist. It's about protecting the stacker. It's about protecting people from being swindled. It's about providing good, solid information so that we have good, usable intel. Because the more people that are educated on this particular subject, the more information that is provided to people about counterfeiting and about protecting yourself, the better you're going to be, the better protected you're going to be, the better your stack is going to be, the better off our community is going to be, and we can combat. Are we as an entity going to be able to stop counterfeiting? No. But can we reduce the impact that it has in our community? Yes, we can. One person makes a difference. A great example of this, and I'm going to take a drink of my coffee. I really need to send a text to my wife and have her bring me some coffee. So bear with me for doing this. Um, just Stackett sent me a message saying that he missed the time for this. And I am sending my wife to bring me up some coffee. But it's important to share information. It's important to share and provide resources. Now, if you come across something that is a counterfeit slab, there are some things in place that you 100% need to do. Um, yeah, counterfeits are getting better with the technology and the equipment that we have. That's absolutely fact, Eric. Yeah, Paula said the same thing. It's 100% fact. But if you get a fake slab and you identify it as a fake, then there's a couple steps that you need to do. Number one, reach out to your coin shop. Reach out to Live Coin Q&A. Reach out to Mid America Coins did it for me. Got a slab, ended up being fake. Reached out to him. He actually reached out to one of his contacts at NGC, reported the number. I took pictures of it, sent it to them. They actually went through and removed that particular that photo listing from their site. The information's there, but the photo and stuff is no longer there. So they'll actually remove that document from there and make sure that they document, letting people know that it is a counterfeit. There are counterfeits out there, and they will remove that particular listing. Because people need to understand, and this is something that I've talked with Paula about this. I've talked to LiveCoin Q&A. I've talked to Coin Crew, Mid America Coins. I talked with Eric about it yesterday. And that is the fact that people will buy a $50,000 coin. Counterfeiters will buy the original coin and then counterfeit from it. That's what they will take the molds of. They will break it out, they will open it up, and they will utilize that to make their counterfeits. So they will actually own the original. So they know exactly what it's like. So it's important to understand that when there's a very good likelihood that when these things are identified, that the counterfeiters are the ones that have bought that particular coin. And by removing it from the registry, they're protecting people from inadvertently getting that coin and documenting it. So when somebody scans it in, they get information to let people know that, hey, this thing has scanned in fake. There's a number of people that are reporting this. Make sure you take this to get this verified and validated. Especially if you're looking at a coin that's of great value and you get it for $100, it's not real. Okay, folks. The premise is if it's too good to be true, it is. Okay, if you have a $10,000 coin and you get it for $350, it is not the right coin. Okay, now granted, every once in a while you may be able to find a really cool deal. YouTube at me is a great example of that. He found a $25 piece at I believe it was a flea market, sent it in, had it validated, had it verified, sent it in to get it slabbed. It came back as authentic. It's a $300 coin. So every once in a while, you might get lucky. It happens with varieties, right? Eric and them, when you're looking at copper coins and they're going through, they find varieties all the time. You spend $2 for a cent, and they find a DDO number one on a 1939, or they find a DDR4 on a 1972 or whatever it might be. That happens. You find those in coin rolls, and you find those in coin roll hunts. I'm talking specifically about slabbed coins. If you find a fake, do due diligence. Okay, report that thing. Do not give that slab. Don't sell that slab piece back to the person who got it from. If you spend a bunch of money, report it. Get the investigation started. Report it through eBay. Report it through Amazon. Follow that appropriately. It's important if you're buying slabs from somebody, if you're utilizing PayPal. A lot of people, if you're doing things like buying from an auction, a lot of people won't like me saying this, but if you're going to be purchasing from an auction and you're PayPal, friends and family is nice for the seller, but if you want protection, friends and family doesn't offer you protection on your purchase. Okay, you need to be utilizing the other. That's why when you have these business accounts, they're going to have it for goods and services because there's protection that comes with it. Now, if you're doing things like you're playing the games and you're doing that kind of stuff, the friends and family thing, that's up to you. It's buyer beware at that point. I know a lot of people are not going to like me saying that, but I'm going to say it as it is. I spend money and purchase things through friends and family all the time because they're a trusted source, and I don't want them to have to pay the fees. But if you're looking at doing stuff, then the goods and services are really the best way to go. The other thing is if you're buying through Amazon or you're buying through eBay, make sure you're looking at the listing. Make sure that returns are authorized. If you're selling through eBay or you're selling through Amazon and eBay's and your authorizations are returned, there's a likelihood that you could get counterfeits returned to you. Okay, so there are a lot of potential risks that can be had because of what's going on. Thank you, sweetheart. My wife brought me coffee. She's awesome. Um, but again, it really, really is important to do that. Now, a lot of people, because of fees that are associated with things like PayPal, don't like to utilize PayPal. They'll use things like Square, where they can utilize them for their businesses. I think CoinCrew utilizes Square and things like that when they invoice. But again, there's a lot of fees and stuff that are charged. I'm not really going to get into the fees and things of that nature. That's meant for somebody that's a topic is better addressed by somebody who really understands that on a better level. But again, there are things put in place to protect people from things like counterfeit. And if you're buying and selling things online, again, utilize those protections that are put into place. It really, really is beneficial. Now, there are people that they say if you're going to send, if you're buying from them locally, and you're going to be doing it goods and services, there are people who will charge you like a 3% higher rate to offset that charge. If you're there to support their channel, be good about it, right? If you know that they're being charged 3%, throw in, you're buying a $10 or $20 piece, throw in an extra buck. It's not a big deal. It offsets the cost for them. If you want to do that to support the channel, that's just going the extra mile. That's showing them that you're willing to meet them halfway. Again, but what that does is that protects the consumer as well as the seller. So again, I'm going to say what it is. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's fine. If you don't like what I have to say, then I apologize, but I'm just going to try and give out the best information. So be aware of that. Hey, Chappie, I see you in the chat. Now, Chappie was one of those people who was with Just Stack It um, when he was at the coin show. They had actually met um, to kind of just get together and to meet each other. So he actually was there when they actually did the um, when they actually identified that. I didn't see you in chat earlier. I would have said something earlier. Thanks for coming in. See Happy Chappy. But he was there. He actually got to be a part of that conversation, which was really cool. He actually got to see the counterfeit, and he actually got to see it next to a real coin. So again, that Stone Mountain. I got my Stone Mountain that was given to me when I went through and searched a collection hoard that was done from a friend of mine whose father had passed away. They invited me to look at it. They gave me one. It went into my typeset book. That I knew that that was real because the coins had been there for a great number of years. Um, but again, still, you go test it, get it checked out. When they sold their stack, because they were selling their father's silver collection, um, they went through and tested all the silver to make sure everything was authentic. They weighed it and did all of those proper procedures. But again, it just doesn't. You can't. You can't say enough about making sure you safeguard yourself in this particular realm. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have taken up a great deal of time in your guys' day. I appreciate you coming alongside of me and supporting the channel. Again, I think we've been up here for, how long have we been up here today? What, an hour, hour and a half? Yeah, about an hour and a half. So I appreciate you all hanging out with me in the stream. Oh, hold on just a second. What happened? What happened? I got notification and I wasn't on it. What was my notification? BR2 Chef 2 just subscribed. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the subscription. Hopefully that popped up. Um, I appreciate the subscription. That's the first time that I've been notified live that I got a subscription. So cool. Again, I geek out about some of this other stuff. Grant's Collectible subscribed a few days ago, but again, I wasn't live with that. But I appreciate it. Treasure Charger did it the other day as well. But it was cool to actually have a subscription done live. So thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. I'm going to give them just a moment. They'll be able, because we're in subscription only mode. So I'm going to give them just a few moments to pop in and say hi. But thank you for the subscription. I know it kind of geeks me out, but every time I get a subscriber, I really appreciate it. So do me a favor, throw into chat. I'm going to get everybody about 2 minutes to throw something into chat to say hi. Again, for those of you who aren't aware, while we're doing this, the exclamation point find me allows you to put in your information. It allows you to let people know what your channel link is. If you want information, Coin Crew, again, thank you for putting in the link to the ping tester. If you want to check your weather, again, the exclamation point weather and then your zip code will give you information in your local area about the weather. If you want to know about shipping, then do the exclamation point shipping. There is, if you want to learn information on how to send me information or money for either a purchase or something of that nature, then it's going to be $tip, TIP. But again, yeah, Eric, my weather is hot. That's when I was living in Hawaii, basically at 10, 2, and 4, you just stick your head outside and it's like, yep, it's drizzling, it's 75 degrees, and the trade winds are blowing from the west at 10 to 15 knots. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do my little giveaway here at the end of stream. But I'm going to give chat just a few more minutes. Again, if you're not in chat, you're not eligible. I want to give at least 2 minutes for the new subscriber. So if the new subscriber is in, only through a subscription, I have the timer set to 1 minute. So after a minute, you can chat. But you need to enter into chat in order to be eligible for the drawing, because I'll type in a command that will reach out into chat and that will pull you across. So while we do this, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a call out. Let me drink a coffee. So grateful to my wife for bringing me up a cup of coffee while I'm doing the stream. Again, she's an amazing lady. Oh, I did a call out video on this. I'm going to be posting that. That's also going to go out tonight at 6 o'clock. I got a really cool package from Mike Panucci. I got a couple of migrated items from PCGS in. We'll be showing those. And then he did the channel cups. I got my first channel cup. Hey, Paula, are you still in? Paula won a channel cup. I think she was the first person. Did you ever get your channel cup? I think she was the one that actually won my channel cup from Mike Panucci. I'm not sure if she's still in. If she is, she can put something in and check. But anyway, I did get a cup. Me got a cup? Oh, me got a cup from Mike Panucci. Cool. Oh, I did not get a cup. Yeah. I didn't think you got a cup. Maybe. Yeah, because she was the one. So I'll show you'll see you have to watch the video tonight to see it. But it's the error cup. And I love it because the only way to be able to tell that it's mine, and I'll have it up on my streams, I'll be drinking coffee from it from here on out, is you can read it. It's backwards. So if the camera's backwards, then you can read it. I got a Messel Shell cup from yeah. So he does these cool. They're really cool. So anyway, you'll be seeing that. There'll be a live video on it. So check that out. That's going to come out tonight at 6 o'clock. But okay, we've had just a minute. I'm going to give another 30 seconds or so. If you're in chat and you haven't already done so, hey, there's the man. Great Scott, I called you out earlier for a huge thank you for all that you've done to help me out as a channel, for providing me technical insight and information. I do want to follow up with you. Let me know. He provided me some great insights yesterday. How is the volume today? Is the volume better? My photo, the image should no longer look like I'm a cherry about to pop. That does happen with the lighting. If the lighting in this area, it does make me look like my head's about to pop, like I've been holding my breath for a long time. But I want to call out Great Scott again. He's been a great, still pretty low. I'm interested. It's going to be the mic. I'm going to have to get a new microphone. I have the mic. I'm going to turn the mic up a little bit higher. Let me know if that got any better. I'm up into the yellow area on my mic augs for my mixer. So I have people, so I'm going to have to check on that. I want to make sure that it is louder. Okay, good. So I've got that set up higher. That's cool. Turn mic up all the way. Oh, I don't, if I turn it up all the way, I'm going to be really loud. I'll turn it up to about 90%. Oh, you know what the hell? I'll turn it up all the way. Hopefully I don't just blow some people's ears out. If I blow people's ears out, I apologize. But that definitely should be louder. Sounds good. Is it definitely louder? I'm seeing like almost red line on my end. I got a big mouth, so sounds perfect. Okay, outstanding. A great Scott, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. So the little elephant that I have on my screen, he was one of the persons who got one of those for being so gracious. When we were at Tulsa, he picked me up from the airport. This guy has a heart of gold. You have to go check out his channel. Great Scott is a good man. So just almost too loud. Yeah, so you're going to have to turn it down on your end a little bit. But I would rather have it to where people have to turn their volume down than not be able to hear. So Yeah, so this is good. So Army said he can hear over his purifier. So I am going to go ahead and Thomas has got jokes. Thomas is throwing down the 90210. That's funny. Not too sure who picked up on that, but Thomas has got jokes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run this. All right, so we're going to do this. Hey, Guillaume, thank you for being here. Good luck, everybody. So hashtag winner is the command for me. That's going to reach out and it's going to find somebody, and the winner is going to be Brother Rat. Brother Rat, congratulations. I've got a couple BU cents coming to you from Copper Coins. I follow their channel. They do some really good stuff there. Eric has been gracious enough to join in the streams. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out some BU cents from one of their reveals. So send me an email, claim that, and you'll be getting that here shortly. I appreciate Eric supporting the channel. And again, go check out Copper Coins. Again, normally we would be in the stream for the Coin Crew. So I'm going to go ahead and find somebody. Let's see who we got streaming. Who are the streamers right now? Who do we got live? All right, who do we got live? Who do we got live? We got. Let's see. I don't see anybody live right now on my end, but I've had issues with getting notifications. Let's see. I've got some gaming. Nope, I don't have anybody live on my end. Is there anybody? Coin Crew will be on Tuesday evening. Okay, so make sure you document. No, Coin Crew is not going on today. Coin Crew will be, they took an additional week off, but they will be on Tuesday, and then they're going to come back on again next Sunday. My Sunday stream will flow directly into theirs. So if you're a part of Coin Crew Nation and you want to go into their stream, more than welcome to come in, hang out with me on Sunday mornings, and we'll head right over into the Coin Crew auction on Sunday mornings. Ike's is going to be on tonight. I'm going to drop a video same time Ike's is on, so go over, check out Ike's. You can watch my video at any time. Not a big deal. I don't know if anybody's on. Mama T's Flea Market. Okay, well, if somebody throw in the link to Mama T's, then we'll go ahead and jump over into Mama T's. We can go check out the flea market. Please let everybody know that you joined. We're going to do that Frostbite raid. I want to make sure that we take into a stream. So on Saturdays, we delve straight into the Premier train. We'll support Mad and Miss Coin Crew, Silver Bull, Will's Treasures, Everyday Copportunity. I just went blank. Ringmaster Ray. There's a number of people on that particular stream, so we want to throw that into that. So on Saturdays and Sundays, we'll normally flow into those two specific items. So if we can have somebody throw in the link. I don't see. Let me pull up Mama T's. Oh, that's really weird. I'm not seeing Mama T's. I need to see. I might have fell off. It looks like Siren Silver Stash got that up there. Let me pull that up and see what we got going on there. Coin Flea Market. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Siren, thanks for doing that. That kicks off in just about 6 minutes. So if you'll go over there, just raid Mama T. Let her know that this is a Frostbite raid. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I need watch hours. So if you'll please make sure to turn on some of my lives, do the watch hours, check out my Ships on Coins. I appreciate you all being here. Eric, thank you so much for coming up, spending the day with me. I think I'll be reaching out to you shortly, but appreciate your support in getting some information on this. Paula, Coin Crew, I appreciate y'all being here. Gold Sniping Farmer, thank you for coming in. Yeah, Gold Sniping Farmer, I will be sending you just Stackit's email right now. I will make sure I get that done, no problem at all. Great Scott, thank you for all the support. Ikes, thank you for the support of the channel. Y'all have been great. John Howe, thank you again. Take care, be well, be blessed, and as always, this is Frosty signing off. I appreciate you. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful day.